All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. YAHAWAH been a true name of the Heavenly Father. YAHAWASHI been a true name of His only begotten Son. RAWCHAA, meaning the Holy Spirit. I also want to give double honors unto the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Blessings and salutations unto the elect of Yashala, which consists of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And blessings unto the Akim out there enduring this truth across the four corners of the earth, as well as the men and women that follow, and those who might look like the other nation, but are of the nation of Israel on their father's side by blood. And this is an article that came out, May of this year. And I can't remember, how I stumbled across. I think it was a different store I was thinking of, but I ended up looking up stores closing in 2025. And you got some pretty big names on here, But I'll try to read. It's not like a heavy article. I'm not going to get every paragraph, but, some of it. But this it says, massive U.S. store closure in 2025, full list of chains shutting down. The retail landscape in the United States is undergoing a dramatic transformation. In 2025 alone, over 15,000 brick and mortar stores are expected to close nationwide, a figure that doubles the total from 2024. Major retail chains, including Joann Fabrics, Walgreens, Macy's, and Party Cities, are scaling back or shutting down entirely in response to shifting consumer behavior and unrelenting pressure for e-commerce. And that's what it is, A lot of people they're going online. All right, they're shopping for things online, or all these little cheap clothes and cheaper sites and deals and discounts, and people don't really feel the need to go out as much, because I remember doing a lesson sometime this year, and it was going over restaurants that was closing, and they had some pretty big names on there as well. And that's another thing, because you got people that don't really dine in, they'll just carry out. And although that might be good for you to still have some type of business, but these people have budgets and goals that should be met financially. So it's like, you just keeping the lights on. We might as well just shut it on down for the most part. So it says, why are so many stores closing? It says a perfect storm of factors is accelerating the decline of physical retail. And that's what it is. It's a perfect storm, which is certain events just fit together to have a certain outcome. All right. And it says e-commerce dominance. Online giants like Amazon, Temu, and Shein continue to capture market share with competitive pricing and rapid delivery. High operational costs, rent, labor, and logistics costs make physical locations less profitable. And that's what it is. You're paying for this building. You got to pay for this building and pay for the few employees that's there, and and nobody's really coming in there. I remember, like I was telling my little ones, riding past the mall, and I'm like, yeah, man, we used to be in there. And really, you talking about 20 years ago, and around that time, you had, let me see. I don't know if flip phones was out just yet. Nah, they was just starting. I know the BlackBerry was starting to come out. That's when you had the big old iPods, MP3 players. Everybody started shifting from CD players to MP3 players, and but you could go. You know, I remember going in Sam Goody. It was like a music store, and you got all the CDs, but everything started going digital. You know, and now that was just warming things up. You know, it went from playing. You went from playing DVDs and having a DVD player, or from a VHS to a DVD player, to now you just streaming. You know, you just pretty much download music, or it's just a complete change in and even though everything, it might be faster, more accessible, it's taking the social life, sociable life out of it. The fact of running into somebody or meeting somebody new or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's just like a dark cloud over America nowadays, you know, because it's the end of an age, man. Matter of fact, might as well go ahead and grab that. This is Second Ezra, chapter 6, verse 9. It says, "For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth." All right? Because you have it to where Esau is in rulership right now. When you go to the story of these two, okay, they both received a blessing of dominance and of rulership and dominion, you know. And we're in Esau's now. And that's why these stores are closing and restaurants are closing. And, you know, there's a bunch of talk about war. And even now, with all of the violence and all of the so-called cracking down on immigrants and cracking down on crime and peace and safety, and they're pushing all of this because we are at the end, man. Okay? We're at the end of Esau's rulership, and as it says, Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right? So let you know the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans is going to be in rulership next. Okay? So it says, post-pandemic shopping habits. More consumers now prefer shopping online for convenience and selection. And there you go. That's what it said, post-pandemic. All right. After that 2020, that vid-19er, you know, that came through and swept away normacy as the world, whatever the world, man, that just changed the game. It shocked a bunch of people. It shocked the world, I would say. You know, it shocked the world, Chico. It says economic caution, inflation, interest rates, and recession fears are driving Americans to spend less and save more. So nobody's really got time to be shopping as much as they used to. There was a huge increase in dollar store sales, you know, because a lot of people was going there to get the things to try to afford and make up for the things that they couldn't afford, the bigger brands at the major stores, man. So let me grab this real quick. This is Isaiah 46:9. It says, remember the former things of old, for I am the Most High, and there is none else. I am the Most High, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. And that's what it is at the end of the day, is the Lord, he bringeth up one, and I mean, he setteth up one and bringeth one down, you know. He controlled good and evil, light and dark, life and death. All right, the duality of things. So we're in the hands of the Lord. That's everyone. All right, and he declared all of this from the beginning. It don't matter how many businesses they open up or architect plans they got. the Lord means business, like it says. Uh, it says, calling a raven his bird from the east, the man that executeth my counsel from a far country. Yea, I have spoken it, I will also bring it to pass. I have purposed it, I will also do it. So the Lord is going to do what he wants to do. And he's not a power that should lie. So the words that are written in this book that hasn't happened, like it said, all right, in the 10th verse, it says, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times the things that are not yet done. And that these scriptures was written aforetime. They was written, there isn't any addition to the scriptures. All right, I can't sit here and say when the whole thing was complete, but it wasn't past year or two, And that's another thing, people make it seem like the scriptures just keep getting updated. No, man. Everything going on in this world now was already written. He declared the end from the beginning. So when he created in the beginning, when he created everything, he had already declared the end. Right? Just like a director shoots their movie. They don't just start. I mean, they might have an alternate ending or something like that, or can't get it all up, but they get that movie written out. They might make a few changes, but that's the thing with the Lord. Like he said, there's none like him. He don't need to make changes. So we have these stores closing, restaurants closing, more people going online because things are going more digital, and that's more convenient. And guess what? So is everything else, identification and medical records and electronic payments, because everything is going digital because everything is leading up to the MOTB. That's their cherry on top. All right. It says Joanne Fabrics, 800 stores, and its online site was shut down by the end of May. You got Walgreens closing down, Macy's, Family Dollar, Dollar Tree, J.C. Penney's, Party City. I remember Party City earlier this year in May, matter of fact. I went to May. I went there because I went there last year. It was like April of last year. Maybe May. But then I went back this year. And that whole location was shut down, It looked like it was open because they ain't got everything out of there. They numbers and stuff is still all on the wall, so it had to have just closed. But nonetheless, Big Lots too, they had a big sale. I actually caught a good mattress on sale when they was closing down, But stores they just can't keep up, man. Can't keep up. Let me see. I'm gonna get this. It says cultural shift behind the retail reset. Beyond the financial drivers, store closure in 2025 signal a larger cultural and behavior shift. Traditional shopping experiences are being replaced by digital first convenience, and younger generations are less attached to mall culture. Yeah, we used to just walk around the mall. Used to have little arcade games in there. You get a little things didn't cost as much too. You can go to the mall with $20 and you can have a little something. Go to the mall with a little, let's get something to eat, but you running into people. Hey, y'all meeting at the mall today? Blah blah blah. When the girls start coming into their life and shit. But now all of the younger generation, they meet online. They don't really know a person. The person got a filter to get catfish, and that interaction is just different. You can be who you want to be. All right. It says as many companies shift resources toward online platform, physical storefronts are becoming liabilities. However, the mass closure of retail location carries consequences. Job losses in retail and service sector, because with these stores closing, people are going to be losing their job. Vacant commercial real estate, reduced foot traffic in shopping districts. What happens next? Retailers that survive this wave of closure will likely be those that successfully integrate digital platforms, optimize in-person experiences, and trim underperforming locations. That's your only options. Go digital. All right, make it more appealing for people to come in there. Okay, or get rid of the stores that ain't doing as good as other stores. It says consumers, meanwhile, should expect continued promotions, liquidation sales, and changes in where and how they shop. For some shoppers, the closures represent nostalgia loss. For others, it's a long overdue shift toward efficiency and price competition. So, hey, some feel this way, some feel that way. But at the end of the day, it's all going to go away. Oh, man. Let me see. I thought there was another one. Well, we can grab it a little in Ecclesiastes real quick. This is Ecclesiastes 12 and 3. It says, in a day when the keepers of the house shall tremble and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. It's just not seeing. It's not as bright as it once looked. Now you constantly have people coming on YouTube and crashing out. Is anybody else feeling this way? Or why is this like this? And why? Because the Lord wrote the end from the beginning. It has to happen. All right. It says, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sounding of the grinding is low, when jobs are low. Not much work. A lot of people losing jobs, and it's hard for them to find jobs, and they might get a job that they don't want, but they just need to have a little something, some type of income. And this is parents with kids, parents with homes, adults with homes, so on and so forth. Now it almost seems like they don't want you living a van life, and they don't want no homeless on the streets, and it's just, they cracking down, man. They have a new world order in mind. They got a whole idea. They got your future planned out for you, even though they ask you what you want. That was just to catch you in a trap. It says, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and the daughters of music shall be brought down low, which we definitely have to experience of that, but nonetheless, man, like I said, these stores are closing down, and it's double from last year. Another thing that I did before I get out of here is I had looked up new stores that will be coming about. It said in 2025, approximately 5,800 new brick and mortar stores are projected to open in the U.S. See, somebody could see this and be like, oh, man, we doing good. But no. According to Core Site Research, this is compared to an estimated 15,000 store closures. So really, you're losing 10,000 stores. It's not as good as it sounds if you ain't watching all of the information. It says, while the number of stores opening remains relatively steady, the number of closures is expected to more than double compared to previous year, according to Core Site Research. And that's what I had read earlier. So if it's about double, if half of 15,000 is 750,000. I mean, so like 7,500. So around there is how many stores has closed down last year. All right. So hey, call YAHAWASHI. We it's about that time. It's about that time. It's an end of an age. It's the end of You know, this wicked rulership, you know, they played the harlot long enough. They've made the nations mad long enough. They've had people drunken off of their wine long enough, and just destroyed the earth long enough. And now it's time for them to pay their tab, man. All right. Hey, so with that, Lord willing, you was edified. And once again, I want to give all praises unto Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Shalom.